Hello, I'm Dr. Sanders and I'm a psychologist. What is ADHD? It's an acronym that stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. We could discuss each of those words, but disorder I have the biggest problem with. I'm writing a paper now where I propose using that D, keeping the acronym, and instead of disorder, how about divergence? It's simply a divergence in a way of thinking and being, where one might not focus as long. Again, as a child, that's natural. Let us look at the classic examples of a person who does have challenges focusing for a long time. That is all right. It's simply a different way of being, and we can work on that, increasing our focus and attentional ability. Working through music is a good way. You have to stay focused. You're enjoying it. That's a good training for this. But at the same time, as an adult or as any age, you can work with it in another way too. You might then have 3 projects going on, and that's all right, because after a certain time period, you need a break from that. And this capacity for creativity and divergence is a benefit. This ability, it's called cognitive flexibility. That's one of the executive functions, which we've always looked up to as an ability, as a positive trait. Let's remember that. So there's cognitive flexibility that we can celebrate with someone diagnosed as ADHD. So let's take that cognitive flexibility and then start a new project. Put that aside temporarily at a certain appropriate point. Go to your second project. Work on that for a while. Suddenly, you have 3-4 projects that are done. Suddenly. How'd you do that so fast? Well, over time, I was working on multiple projects. So there's ways to work with that. There are ways to celebrate it. Creativity is valuable. Thinking outside the box is valuable. We have computers to do the other stuff. So let's celebrate this. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of inventors, a lot of genius mathematicians and musicians be diagnosed as such. So it doesn't mean that you're smarter, but if you have a high intelligence level, then it can translate to some of these famous figures in history. So let us work with it. Let's recognize the challenges, work on attention. And impulsivity is another trait that can be negative. We can watch it. Person needs to watch and work on when appropriate time to act. But at the same time, that impulsivity, the positive side, is excitement and ideas and freshness and fun. So let's celebrate the positive sides of these traits that we call often, a disorder. That can affect a child's self-esteem. You tell them they're 7 years old, they're running around, they're very creative, they're enjoying life, they might be impulsive sometimes. Let's work with that. But if you tell them they have a disorder, that affects self-esteem. Let us watch our words. Let's respect different ways of thinking and being. And as psychologists and educators, let's again celebrate it, but also recognize the challenges and work with the challenges in a positive, warm, encouraging way. So again, I invite you to re-look at some of these acronyms, some of these disorders, and let's just look at it as another way of thinking and being. Work with the challenges of that, and celebrate the positives. We can apply that to everything in life. So let's celebrate different minds, different world we live in, different types of people, different species. Let us celebrate and be kind, to work together.